Is CGC screwing real collectors? Welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics Collectibles, and thank you for joining me for another video here on the channel. Unfortunately, this one's going to be a little bit more of a rant than a video, but that's alright. If this is the first time you guys are checking out my videos, do me a favor, go ahead, click that sub button for me, smash that like button. You guys know once we get to 5,000 subs, I'm giving away a raw copy of Iron Man 1. Check out all the new merch I have available for sale down below if you guys are interested. And now let's get into my rant, okay? So a little bit of a backstory. I have been using CGC since around 2002. I bought my first Amazing Fantasy 15 in the raw form, sent it into them way back when, and it came back at 2.5, and I was just ecstatic about having my book Slab. I thought it was a great thing for the hobby. Again, I took a really big break in between then, came back to collecting about 7 years ago, and I've been using CGC again ever since. Albeit I don't send a lot of books in all the time. I usually do a once or twice a year submission. So now that that's out of the way, you guys never heard a peep from me when they went through all the quality control issues with the turnaround times being horrific, all of that stuff. I never said a word. I really supported them and said, you know what, things happen during businesses where sometimes things go awry. They started to fix some things. They raised a little prices, 2 price increases, and now we come to today. We have our 3rd price increase. And the money is really not the issue for me. It's eliminating a tier, and we're going to get to that. So we're going to start off in the modern tier because that really hasn't changed too much. The modern tier went up $1, right? $1 for all the modern books that you submit under that tier. Now, this doesn't pertain to me because I don't submit modern books. I don't buy books off the shelf and submit them. It's not my thing. People trying to get 9/8, people trying to get books out there to resell. I'm not into it, but I understand it's part of our hobby, and a $1 increase is not going to kill your business, so fine. The next tier we're going to get to is the economy tier, which is now being relabeled the vintage tier. Again, it's gone up $2 from $35 to $37. Not that big a deal. The only caveat is it's for books that are $400 and under. Now, I'm going to throw something out there in my opinion, and that this is you shouldn't be grading books that are under $500. That's just my opinion, okay? I know some people won't like that, but I also understand people want to have certain things slabbed. They like the way it looks. It's there for protection. It's just a hell of a lot of money to spend for a $400 book. You're going to spend almost $40 now, including shipping and all that stuff. I just don't see it being worth it. You can go out and you get yourself a nice $40 book and put it in your collection and just leave it raw, right? Okay, not that big of a deal, $2 increase. I said what I said. This is where I start to have an issue. The standard tier, now being relabeled the high value tier, went from $80 to $85. Again, not a huge increase, but I believe it was 60 something dollars not too long ago. So it's almost gotten a $20 increase over that time frame, which to me is a lot of money, especially when you're getting up to books that are up to $999. So you're going to charge an extra $20 almost for books up to just under $1,000, which is a lot of money, okay? So if you're slabbing books from $500 to $1,000, you're going to get to pay almost $100 at this point, $85, not including shipping. It's a lot of money, okay? Fine. But if you still want to do it, hey, I'm on board. You could send your books into CGC under $1,000 and pay $85 each book. Great. Awesome. Here's where I have the biggest issue. The Express tier has now been eliminated. This is books over $1,000 to $3,000. That is now gone. It was at one point increased to $130, and now it's going up to $150 minimum because all those books that were $1,000 to $3,000 are now included in the new walkthrough tier, which has been relabeled the unlimited value tier, which is now 4% of fair market value. So let me give you a little bit of math. A $2,000 book, the minimum is $150 now. That's 7.5% that you're paying on a $2,000 book to have graded. Now I understand $2,000 is a lot of money. A lot of people are going to want to spend it to have those books graded, but sometimes it's just not worth it. And let me think of why I think they're doing this. This is not good for business. We're talking about the majority of books that are worth value that people out there in our community are searching for to collect are over $1,000. I'll even say from $500 and up. That's what a lot of collectors out there are looking for. And that's what I'm talking about, the real collectors. I mean, no harm in that term, so don't take it the wrong way. But the people who are out there are willing to go out and buy books that they love for the characters that they want, for the storylines they grew up with. They want those books, those first appearances, those bigger books in their collection. And now all of a sudden, they have to go out and spend an extra $150 minimum to go out and buy those books raw and send them in. All the YouTubers out there have been saying that the raw books out there are on fire. People want the raws over the slabs because they can get a better deal on them and then send them in if they want to be graded for a higher grade, if they see a book might be undergraded. That's the whole fun of being a collector. I've been saying this for the past year. I might have been the first one that said it, that I'm only collecting raw books right now because sooner or later, everything is going to be slab, especially with Silver Age keys and now even some Bronze Age keys. Too many Bronze Age books are being graded. And now, by eliminating this express tier, what happens to all the Amazing Spider-Man number 129s, the Marvel Spotlight 5s, the Hulk 180s, the Hulk 181s, the Tomb of Dracula 10s, all the raw copies out there? What happens? Do the people out there buy them raw and say, you know what, I have to spend at least $150 to have this graded? I'm better off buying a graded copy now. So whose idea was this? Was it CGC's idea, or were they feeling pressure for some of the dealers out there saying, I can't get rid of any of these slab books. Everybody wants raw. What's going on? And this is just a thought. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but it crossed my mind. Do the dealers have something to do with it? Are the slabs out there not moving? So CGC is saying to them, well, maybe if we increase those rates for those tier books, people won't send them in to be graded and they'll move some of those slabs quicker. And then people will start sending some of those more books in again. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right. Again, I'm spitballing here. But why would you send a $1,200 book in to be graded and spend $150 for this thing to grade? It makes 0 sense. 0 cents. Because if you spend $150 in on a $1,000 book, $1,500 book, you're nuts. It's like selling on eBay at this point and spending 13% selling your books. It makes no sense. Why would I do that when I can use the IG sellers to sell a book for 3% or 5% or whatever they charge, right? It makes no sense to do it. A lot more people out there are using the IG sales process as opposed to eBay or other avenues. Again, you have Shortbox. I don't know what Shortbox charges because I don't use them to sell books. But again, if you want to buy slabs through them, I think it's an awesome platform. I'm not saying it's not. But if you're a seller, where are you going to go? You're going to sell for where it charges you the less money. At least that's my opinion, right? That you want to make the most bang for your buck. So what is CGC doing? It makes no sense. They're going to charge you $150 to send in the most premium books out there? Why? Why? You know how many copies out there of a Hulk 181? Do you know how many copies are out there? 20,000+ minimum. Okay? Some of them are graded, some of them are not. So why would you spend the money to have that graded when there's a billion different copies out there already graded? It makes no sense. And they're not helping the people in this community who want to go out and obtain those books. You're not helping them. You're hurting them. I have plenty of friends out there in this community who are still looking to buy some of their bigger books in their collection. And this doesn't affect me, guys. I don't do a lot of CGC submissions. You guys know if you watch my channel, I've shifted my collecting goals to raw books and bigger books. I have a Batman one. I have a Superman one. I'm at the top of the mountain. Or at least I'm at the peak, right? I'll never get to the top because I don't have an Action 1 or a Detective Comics 27. So it doesn't affect me. I'm giving a rant out here for my fellow collectors. The guys I know out there like Rohan and Jason and whoever else still looking for their big grail. Still looking for the big book that they want in collection. So what do they have to do now? They have to spend $150 when they can get a better deal on a raw book than they can on a slab. And now they have to cough up that money for a slab because more slabs in this price range from $1,000 out, I'll call it $3,000 to $3,500, they're going to move quicker because nobody's going to want to spend the money on slabbing those books. That's just my opinion. Again, that's what this rant is. It's my opinion. And again, I've been a CGC supporter since day one. I never called them out on the price increases because I said it's an inevitable part of doing business, right? Inevitable part. When their quality controls issues were happening, I wasn't affected by any of it, so I wasn't going to say anything. You know, other people were, and hopefully they were going to rectify the situation. But I thought it was due for all the people sending their stuff in, that stuff was getting lost. But their turnaround times got better, they hired more people, but the quality control got a little better and then started to get a little worse. I submitted a book for reholder. It's at 76 days for a freaking reholder. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. So, is this a money grab? I don't know what it is. It feels like to me like they want to push already slab books in that price range because I don't see anyone in their right mind spending that kind of money to send in a book for around that price. 3,000 and over, again, you're going to spend that money anyway. It went from 3% to 4%. Again, if you have an AF-15 that you're raw and you're going to send it in, you have no choice, right? They're going to get that money anyway. That's all I'm saying. Again, so the reholders had no change. The high-grade reholders had no veins. It just changed the name. The pre-screen, like I said, went from $7 to $9 if that's your thing, but there's no minimum on the books right now. So again, they're getting probably less books than they've gotten before, so they increased it by $2. Not a huge deal if that's your thing. But again, not everything is what I do. I'm just kind of stating the changes for everyone out there. Again, my opinion, who this helps is the dealers sell books between $1,000 and $3,500 already slabbed. That's who this helps. Doesn't help the collector who's able to buy a book raw and save a little bit of money if they wanted to down the line go ahead and send that book into CGC or wherever to have that book graded. It doesn't help them. And that's what I'm about. I want to help my fellow people out there who want to collect comic books. And that's what my channel is about. We have fun. We talk about comics, talk about anything collectible, and I give you help wherever I can. And sometimes I need help. So I talk about all the other people. My good buddy Errol over in Australia, he helps me all the time when we're talking about stuff. That's what the community is about. And CGC is not about the community. They're about something else right now. And it wasn't always like that. One other thing I want to mention, when people say, why don't you just send your books to CBCS? And I'm not going to dog CBCS right here, but I had a conversation with someone at CBCS, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but we spoke on the phone. I had sent an email saying, hey, it's when around they changed their slab, saying, hey, could I get a new slab to show on my channel so I could, see what the difference is between your old slab and your new slab, and, compare it to CGC's. And he called me and he said, we really don't want to do that. We want to separate ourselves from CGC, which I understood. I get that. You don't want to be compared to another company who's at the top of the food chain right now in that business. But I offered him some insights on what would help. And you know what he told me? He told me that they weren't interested in changing anything because they didn't want to be like CGC. Well, let me tell you why I don't send books to CBCS, right? One, because their turnaround times are horrible. And two, because I hate their stupid label. All right? Fix your freaking label. And you will get more business than you could dream of, because everybody is sick of the price hikes at CGC. They're sick of the poor quality control. They're sick of the turnaround times as well. So do yourself a favor, CBCS, and I'm not dogging you because you had my books for over a year at one point, way back when I tried you guys. Fix your stupid label. Take the criticism, take it into consideration, and take market share from CGC when you have the opportunity, because if you don't, then you will always be second or third fiddle. So take that to the bank from somebody who's in this community who actually gives a shit. And I know a lot of other guys out there and gals do. So with that said, that's my rant, guys. Do yourself a favor. Buy raw books, keep them in your collection, and keep them raw. If you have to buy something slabbed, go right ahead. If you have to have something slabbed, make sure you really want to spend that money. All right. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.